I'm Monica Moore. So glad you're joining us for this one. It has been a high-octane Japan team scoring 78 goals in this tournament. Will New Zealand be able to find an answer to that Japan offense? Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket to see how we got here today. So you see there, the United States and Hong Kong, they are playing around this time, so we'll keep you updated on that game. The winner of this one will square off against the winner of the United States and Hong Kong. Meanwhile, two games already decided. The Haudenosaunee defeated Scotland 11-9, and Australia defeated Ireland 18-4. And so here you see the other side, the right side of the bracket. It was England defeating Wales today and Israel defeating Mexico. So they've punched their ticket to the quarters. The Czech Republic just defeated Germany on this field 14-9. And Canada over Puerto Rico 17-6. So you have the quarterfinals already set on that side of the bracket. We will take a quick break and be right back here from Tiger Field.
It's coming. The world is coming to San Diego. 30 nations, 30 teams. Only one will be crowned world champion. There's nothing like playing for your country. This is the pinnacle of sport. Be here as legacies are forged and history is made.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
You give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
and to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
safer,
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
for everyone.
Underway. Let's go ahead and meet our players to watch for both of our two teams, starting with Japan's Kokoro Nakazawa. She has been tremendous in this tournament so far. 14 goals and 5 assists. She is going to be one of the players today that New Zealand is going to have to key in on defensively, because she has made life very difficult for opposing teams' defenses so far. And on the other end of the field for New Zealand, no surprise, it's number 21, Sarah Butler. She is also having a very good tournament offensively, 10 goals and 4 assists. If you remember back to the 2017 World Championship, she was also New Zealand's leading goal scorer, had 18 goals in that tournament. And remember, at Longwood, she finished her career as the 4th leading scorer in history. That just gives you a sense of how dangerous she is offensively. Just before we came back, we saw the traditional haka from New Zealand, dance performed by those athletes, a tradition that they've brought to this tournament, really have delighted the fans. And now taking a look at Japan, I talked earlier about their ability to score goals in this tournament. They are averaging 19.5 goals per game, which is absolutely tremendous in a tournament like this one. I think the other statistic that has really stood out to me, 69 draw control wins for Japan so far in the tournament. So that's going to be something we're going to keep our eyes on all game long, is the battle in the draw control circle. Can New Zealand also find a way to stop the draw control team for Japan that has been really dynamic in this tournament? So both teams out on the field. Japan is wearing the away red jerseys. New Zealand wearing the home whites. And in the draw control circle is Nikki Fordyce, who has 20 draw control wins so far in the tournament for New Zealand. She's squaring off against Chisa Kobayashi, 16 draw control wins of her own. And of course, the players on the circle, equally important for Japan. Starting out, it's going to be Mayu Fuji, number 10, and number 18, Kanako Mizuno. Bria Bertram has 11 draw control wins in the tournament for New Zealand. So again, a lot can be decided in the circle. We certainly saw that in my last game, where Korea absolutely dominated Austria in the circle, and that was the deciding factor in that one. 15 minutes on the clock. Again, these two teams in the championship bracket of this tournament. They have finished pool play, and now it is single elimination. Official taking some time to set up this opening draw. You see there New Zealand, the 8 seed, Japan, the 9 seed. And we are underway. Big battle for the draw control opening up, and it's Harriet Overend who comes up with it for New Zealand. She is quickly fouled. Overend doing a good job racing forward from the opposite end of the circle to win that possession, and now trying to get this offense going for New Zealand. In pool play, Japan's defense only gave up 13 goals. They are very stingy. So we'll see what New Zealand goes with early on to try to break down this defense. Fordyce was looking for the pass. It's Bria Bertram trying to work around her defender, and you already see how aggressive Japan's defense is early on. They do such a good job of shadowing their opponent's stick, but an early goal. Number 19 for New Zealand, it's Kata Perry. And that is a monster goal. Actually, my apologies, number 15, Anya Kos, who scored that for New Zealand. And we just talked about Japan's defense and how outstanding they have been in this tournament. And for New Zealand to win that opening draw control and quickly get on the scoreboard is a big momentum builder for New Zealand. And immediately, Japan's going to switch things up in the circle with Riza Suzuki now in the circle against Nikki Fordyce, wanting to give a different look early on after New Zealand was successful with the first draw control win of this contest. And they are, you see, Riza Suzuki did such a great job deflecting the ball into open space where no one was located so that she could go over to help win that possession. That was a very smart play by Riza Suzuki, and now Japan with their opening possession of the contest. Ball going over to Kana Kame. Japan with a lot of different offensive weapons on their team. We talked a little bit about Nakazawa, who truly has been one to watch. But I think what's made Japan so difficult for their opponents is they have lots of different goal-scoring weapons on their squad. New Zealand doing a nice job pushing players out of the middle, trying to watch for cutters. Great look inside over top of the net in a race to see who backs up that shot. I really like the aggressive play of New Zealand's goalkeeper, Sally Rutherford. That really is a sign of a great, smart goalkeeper. She knew she could possibly get to that ball and win possession for her team, and she was not afraid to press forward at a goal. A brilliant play by Sally Rutherford, and really no surprise because Sally Rutherford, no stranger to this tournament. Well, we told you we were going to give you score updates from the U.S.-Hong Kong-China game, and so far the U.S. continuing their dominance in this tournament, already up by 4. I had an opportunity to watch that Hong Kong team play, however, on day 2, and was very impressed with their talent, with their coaches. So that's certainly one we're going to keep our eyes on as the evening wears on. But right now, New Zealand, after a big defensive play by Rutherford, looking to get on the scoreboard once again. Getting some good ball movement right now, working the ball around, trying to stretch out the Japan defense. As we talked about, that is easier said than done because they are very aggressive, very active defensively. Good pass back behind the net, trying to create some opening. And again, you just see the swarming defense of Japan, not giving a lot of daylight, knocking the ball loose. Great team defense. New Zealand lucky to hang on to possession in an unsettled situation. Big stop by the goalkeeper for Japan. That is number 3, Runa Fujita. I have to tell you, I was really impressed with the defense of Nikui Narumi. She is number 13 for Japan. She was swarming on that last defensive play. No one could get past her. And then a big defensive stop by Runa Fujita. Let's see if Japan now can build on that momentum. Sometimes that's what it takes, is a big defensive stop to get your offense going. As Japan works the ball into their offensive zone. And now we'll set up their offense. Great job trying to cut inside by our player to watch. Nakazawa, and a goal by Japan as they tie things up very quickly. It's Kanakame for Japan. And Kanakame will tie things up, number 18. And just like that, all even once again. And you can see the defense was really keying in on Nakazawa, but as we talked about, there's so many different offensive weapons for Team Japan. It is hard to keep all of them in check. And now after scoring that goal, Kame will go back to the circle with the draw control unit. Kobayashi back in the circle for Japan. They're gonna call a foul there on New Zealand. So Bria Bertram, very surprised by that call. And now Japan looking for back-to-back goals as they will work the ball up the field. Really good, solid offensive possession last time. And right now, Nakazawa with possession for Japan. You can certainly tell they like to keep the ball in her stick as much as possible to help direct this offense. So Japan right now stretched out pretty far as they work the ball around. They're trying to draw the defense out with them to create a little space. And an errant pass there. New Zealand will take advantage. A nice play by Kata Perry, who has really had some great hustle plays for New Zealand so far in this game. And quickly up the field comes Overend. And sometimes that happens with Team Japan when you are looking for those cutters and the cutter goes just a little earlier than you think they're going to start their run, and so you do not connect on the pass. And now New Zealand looking to make Japan pay for that error. Over to Perry. Japan's defense, once again, really pushing out to pressure, has been very successful for them throughout this tournament. When you have such aggressive swarming defense, it can speed up your opponent as that shot goes long. It's backed up by Perry. It was a good look and a good take by Overend. Just a little to the outside. And now New Zealand once again looking for cutters coming through the middle. They're getting some movement, trying to create a high percentage shot. We'll get a shooting space call there. Well played by Harriet Overend. Free position opportunity coming up for Overend. Our first free position opportunity of the game. Overend working her way inside, just unlucky. And a miscommunication, misconnection there as they were looking for Perry. Well defended by Japan. And they will look to clear the ball up the field. Just about 10 minutes into this game, we get our first free position opportunity. So both teams doing a good job not giving up early free position chances. And now Japan will set up their offense. Up top is Fuji. And we've seen Japan be very methodical, just trying to draw out the New Zealand defense. Back behind the cage, they have Takano. And they run a lot of the offense through her. Now resetting up top. Great look inside. And somehow I thought she might not have gotten enough power on that shot, but Taga able to get the ball past the goalkeeper, Rutherford, and I really like the shot selection. That is Maya Taga. And again, I think that was a really smart decision on where she chose to place the ball. Runa Fujita on the assist. Really a well-developed play by Japan. And again, I think that is a brilliant shot selection against the goalkeeper, Sally Rutherford, who has played in 3 previous World Championships. So talk about being an experienced goalkeeper in this event. New Zealand looking to take advantage in transition, but we get a whistle. And a free position opportunity coming up for Julia Falconer from the center hash. Winding up, looking for the sidearm shot, and a big save by the Japan goalkeeper. And quickly up the field comes Team Japan. That was a difficult catch in transition by Suzuki, but Japan not able to get a shot off. So now they will set up their offense, but that was a big save. We talked about how your defense can key your offense, and Japan has gotten some big defensive stops that have led to good offensive opportunities. Can they do it again? Great look, and another shooting space call. So this will be Suzuki. Nakazawa did a great job helping to create this opportunity, drawing the defense. And a great free position goal for Japan, Suzuki. And again, credit Kokoro Nakazawa because she drew the defense over to her side of the field, got the ball over to Risa Suzuki, who was able to draw the shooting space call. And I think what has really stood out to me on Japan's end of the field is their shot selection. You can really see how they've already scored 78 goals coming into this game, now 81 goals in this tournament. And now they have Nakazawa in the draw control circle. So really showing her skill set is so vast in terms of everything that she can do on the lacrosse field. But another draw control win for New Zealand. Ollie Archer doing a great job controlling the ball there. A much needed possession for New Zealand as our first quarter is winding down. Japan with a 3-1 start, looking very impressive. And of course, we are not surprised given everything we know about their offensive performance in this tournament so far. And a great play to save possession there for Nikki Fordyce. 15 seconds on the clock. Great defense. That's Kanekame. Great awareness of where the cutter was. And now Japan was looking to capitalize in transition, but that will end a very exciting first quarter of play. Japan scoring 3 goals, 3 different goal scorers. We'll be right back here from Tiger Field at Towson University.
I think he's got an auto iris. Oh, he might. Yeah. Just set it at a good level and just leave it.
Lacrosse is an official equipment sponsor of the U.S.
It should be good, right?
Follow @GateLax Official on Instagram for updates on player signings throughout the tournament at the Gate Lacrosse camp in the Fan Village. Gate Lacrosse, the legendary.
Welcome back to Tiger Field. Our second quarter almost underway, and a huge start for Team Japan in the first quarter. New Zealand started out very strong, winning the opening draw control, getting the first goal of the first quarter, but then Japan settled in, made a change in the draw control circle. They've been switching things up and have had success with lots of different players. really showing you how balanced this Japan team is. And now they win the opening draw of our second quarter. And a good start. One thing that has been very impressive, it has been 3 different goal scorers for Japan so far. And certainly what we expected with the offense that we've seen. New Zealand will get called for the foul, Bria Bertram, but I really like how aggressive she was on defense, was trying to get her stick in the way there to force the turnover. Nakazawa trying to get a step. You see quickly 3 defenders coming over to try to stop her. Bertram, great interior defense for New Zealand. So Japan will reset their offense. Great find and another goal, an assisted goal. It's Hikari Takano on the finish, but that was all created with the assist. Great vision to find the open player down low by the crease. Mayu Fuji with a great assist there, and you see all smiles is Hikari Takano for Japan. 4 unanswered goals. And Team Japan is rolling. New Zealand needs to find an answer in the draw control circle. So an important draw coming up here. As the official once again will take some time to set this up. It's Ollie Archer in the circle for New Zealand. Doing a great job directing the ball towards the outside so that Fordyce could come up with it. And now New Zealand, an opportunity here to try to stop this big Japan run. So we get a whistle away from the ball. And we'll now reset. Japan's defense so far has been very impressive, which is certainly what we expected to, just looking at the goals against average for this team. New Zealand trying to work their way down the middle, and now isolating some players on one side of the field, trying to get some cutters and some movement through the middle. That foul will go against Nakui. As we've talked about a lot throughout this tournament, there's no shot clock right now in international play. We certainly expect that to change, but right now it's made a difference at times in this tournament. And a big stop by Japan's goalkeeper Fujita, who has had some nice plays today. She has certainly been impressive in the early goings, and her play has certainly spurred on her offense. She's seeing the ball very well right now, and really a credit to her defense in front of her too for not letting her get in bad situations. New Zealand will regroup. Archer with possession will hand off to Overin. Overin pushed outside by Japan's defense. And once again, New Zealand overloading players over on the far side of the field. Trying to create a lot of space in the middle. Look at the defensive pressure by Japan. Quick outlet pass. Well handled by Sagaya. And now Japan in transition. Great recovery defensively by New Zealand to get back down the field and not allow Japan to create something in transition. And now Japan will set up their settled offense. Nakazawa taking some time. It is a 3-goal lead for Japan, and a lot of miscommunication there, right? Taga just was not expecting the ball, was not looking where the ball was, but Japan able to hang on to possession. Nakazawa looking to draw the defense. She does it so well. And the goal is scored by Monica Jones. That was all created by Kokoro Nakazawa. She draws the defense over to her. She knows there's a player cutting around the crease. She connects with Jones, and Jones becomes the 5th player from Team Japan to score in this game. I have talked so much about offensive balance, but they have 5 goals and 5 different goal scorers, and you also have to talk about the unselfishness of Japan's team. But let's check in with the bracket. The United States asserting their dominance in the second quarter of that one, up 10-0 over Hong Kong, China right now. We will continue to keep you posted, particularly since the winner of this one faces the winner of United States, Hong Kong tomorrow. 8 minutes, 24 seconds remaining in our first half. And after the first few minutes belonged to New Zealand, it has been all Japan so far. A nice job on the draw control, deflecting the ball over the head of Team Japan's player, but now a big scrum in the middle of the field, and it's Ollie Archer again, who was able to help win possession and then getting the ball over to Fordyce. And the question for New Zealand, can they now capitalize after winning a hard-fought draw control? Nothing has been easy in this game so far. Everything is heavily contested, which is what you expect in this championship bracket. And of course, everything on the line right now. You don't want to go home. So big game. New Zealand working the ball back behind the goal. And we'll get a whistle. And we'll reset. And so that foul actually away from the ball. Now they're gonna send the ball back behind the goal again. I was wondering why the ball was being sent over to Kata Perry, but now we will reset back behind the goal. And Japan just not allowing a lot of openings through the middle. And New Zealand will reset once again. Lots of cutters coming through the middle area, but as you can see, there's a player in red that is right there with them. There's just not a lot of open space, not a lot of room to maneuver. Great pressure once again. Japan's defense, and we've got the flag up. So we'll have an opportunity coming up for New Zealand. And this is just the style of defense that Japan plays. They're gonna give up some fouls. They're gonna give up some free position opportunities. Nice idea, just could not connect on the pass. Overend was trying to create a good high percentage shot for her team. Smart idea by Harriet Overend. And now New Zealand once again will reset. Now Japan has pushed New Zealand well to the outside. So we'll see if New Zealand can get some cutters inside now that they have a little more space. And Overend is fouled by Suzuki. And another free position opportunity coming up for Harriet Overend. So last time Overend looked to pass. We'll see if this time she looks to take the shot herself. Officials still getting the players organized. And now Overend over top of the goal, backed up by New Zealand. I like her decision though. Last time she passed the ball, so this time she worked her way inside. You always want to switch things up, keep the defense on their toes so they don't know exactly what you're going to do on these free position opportunities. And Overend has done a great job drawing these fouls, really pressuring the defense to try to contain her. This is Archer, who has been huge on the draw controls in this second quarter for New Zealand. And another foul. Sarah Butler with a free position opportunity. The double team came to try to contain Butler, who has been the leading scorer in this tournament for New Zealand. Great look inside, but look at the defense. Unbelievable. They collapse so quickly. They're prepared for that interior pass. We'll get a turnover, but so far Japan's defense has been exactly what we expected to see today. They make things very difficult, particularly on the interior. They do such a good job of knowing where cutters are and preventing them from getting good high percentage shots. It's a very active defense that Japan runs, and they are just, because of the defensive pressure, and look at the speed to scoop up the ball. Great decision, getting the ball ahead to Suzuki. Suzuki seeing Nakazawa looking for the trailer. Very unselfish play by Nakazawa. Japan just could not convert, but look at the speed of Japan in the open field. And they're a great passing team. We've seen a lot of teams in this tournament on these clears bobble the passes, not be able to handle them, but that was a very crisp clear in transition by Japan. Now Japan will set up their offense once again. Nakazawa trying to get open. She draws so much attention right now. Lainey Mowat has the very tough defensive assignment. Number 11 versus number 11 out on the field. Japan showing some patience. Great awareness of the clock right now as our second quarter is starting to dwindle. And while it has been a bit more of a low-scoring affair in the second quarter, we've seen some great defense. And that has certainly been the storyline of the second period of this contest. Japan in no hurry, trying to stretch out this defense. And you see right there, looking up at the clock, knowing exactly how much time is left in the first half of this contest. And now a little more urgency as time starting to wind down. What a shot selection by Miho Sakuri. I love the shot selection. She got past the defense, kept her eyes focused on the goal, and it was the perfect shot selection. And Miho Sakurai becomes the 6th player for Team Japan to score. It has been a tremendous offensive showing by Japan because they have 6 different goal scorers and none of them are Kokoro Nakazawa, their leading goal scorer, coming into this game. This just gives you a sense of the degree of offensive talent on Team Japan's roster. They have so many different players out on the field that can hurt you offensively. And New Zealand just has not had an answer for the balance on offense that we've seen from Japan. 26.7 seconds remaining in our first half. And again, it's the speed of Japan that pays off on the draw control. That's really been an X factor as Fuji comes up with the ball. But a turnover, which will stop the clock momentarily as we prepare for the last 5 seconds of our first half. And New Zealand's trying to hurry here, which can sometimes mean sloppy passes, and that will end the first half of play. It is Japan with a 6-1 lead over New Zealand, and they have gotten it done with a lot of different players stepping up their game. We will take a quick break and be right back. It is halftime here from Tiger Field.
I've seen it all before. This goes Tiger. Just as sharp with the bended knee. My main man, Money the King. Me ain't nothing. I ain't seen.
Okay, old school. Have you seen someone ball like John Morant? No, you can't. You've never seen anyone like a thing. The point guard, Queen, Sky, or Chloe Kim. Do you know there's never been anyone else like them? Look, OG, no disrespect. I know you think you've seen everything, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Checkmate.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
You give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
and to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
Safer.
And wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
Welcome back to Tiger Field. It is halftime. Japan with a 6-1 lead right now over New Zealand. Now let's go ahead and take another look at the bracket because you see the halftime score there of the United States versus Hong Kong, China. United States putting up 15 goals and shutting out Hong Kong, China so far. And again, I watched Hong Kong play on day 2, and that tells you a lot about the United States' defense. They have so many great defensive weapons. You already see that the second part of the bracket is set for tomorrow. It's going to be Haudenosaunee versus Australia. That's a 2 p.m. game on Wednesday. And this is the other side of the bracket. And you see there, it's already set as well. So it's going to be England and Israel at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That will be followed up by the Czech Republic versus Canada, the number 2 seed in this tournament, who has also been very impressive, at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to take another quick break and be right back with halftime stats here from Tiger Field at Towson University. Welcome back to Tiger Field here at Towson University. This game so far has been controlled by Japan. Let's take a look at the stats that tell some of the story. Now, if you look at a lot of these stats, they look even. Draw controls, New Zealand with the advantage by 1. Ground balls, Japan with the advantage by 1. But there are 2 particular stats that I want you to look at that I think really sum it up. First of all, the saves. There have been some big momentum plays by Runa Fujita back in goal for Japan that have really spurred on the offense. And the other one is turnovers. New Zealand has 5, and a lot of those have been key turnovers in their offensive zone that has been created by Japan's defense. So Japan's going to look to do more of that in the second half of this one. We'll take a quick break and be right back here from Tiger Field.
We want the gold medal. We've been dreaming of it our entire lives. But this summer, we want more. We have an opportunity together to change the sport and women's athletics for the better. The eyes of the lacrosse community will be on us. Never has this sport been more popular. Never has this platform been bigger. So what's this about? A team of talented women with a shared goal. Inspiring a new generation, one whose identity is a sense of pride and not a limitation. Relentlessly pursuing equity in our sport and beyond. we want the greatness of all women's athletes to shine. The world will be watching. Let's put on a show. This is more than a medal. Are you with us?
Fasten your seatbelt.
The game you've always loved just found a new gear.
Introducing World Lacrosse Sixes.
It's speed and scoring.
Tempo and transition.
Athleticism and action.
It's big-time energy packed onto a smaller playing surface.
It's the game you've always loved, brought to you at warp speed.
It's lacrosse on the Autobahn.
Don't blink. This is World Lacrosse Sixes.
Our second half is almost underway, and you see there a nice look at Japan's coach, and we talked about the goalkeeper for Japan, who was tremendous in the first half. Very impressed with Runa Fujita. 3 big saves, big momentum plays for Japan. Meanwhile, looks like a goalkeeper change for New Zealand. Aaron Jagger appears to be back in goal. So switching some things up on the defensive end, but right now a big draw control win for New Zealand as they look to cut into this deficit early on. Remember, it was New Zealand that got on the scoreboard first, but what you cannot do is give Japan opportunities because they have exploited their speed today. And we have noticed it at times on the draw controls, on some of these defensive plays. They turn on an extra level of speed to get to some of these loose balls, and it has really been key for Japan today. Now an opportunity for Japan to build on their lead. As we talked about, we have had 6 different goal scorers for Japan in the contest. They have shared the wealth, they have spread the ball around. And we'll get a foul against Lainey Mowat, who again has had the unenviable task of trying to contain Nakazawa, but a turnover there, and just unlucky for Nakazawa. She lost her footing and really got trapped without an opportunity to pass to a teammate. So unlucky for Japan. Can New Zealand capitalize? We talked about some of those costly turnovers from New Zealand in the first half of the game. But now an opportunity, Kata Perry over on the near side. And once again, things stretched out. Perry trying to work her way inside as there was some open real estate, but could not get past her defender. And you see there, as we've talked about, the winner plays the winner of the United States versus Hong Kong. That's tomorrow at 8. And Japan causing another turnover. Their defense has been stifling. Great look up ahead. Great pass in transition. That is how you run a fast break. And we have our first player to score 2 goals in this game, and it's Miho Sakurai. But that was all created, and I think the assist goes to Monica Jones, who has a goal as well. But that is exactly how you run a fast break. You see how quickly Japan got down the field, crisp tic-tac-toe passing, and the finish right on the doorstep of the goal by Miho Sakurai, number 17, who has scored back-to-back goals for Japan. And a big draw control here for New Zealand, really a must-win as they're trying to get any momentum in this contest that they can get, and instead it's won by Kobayashi. Over to Inoue. So Japan in the driver's seat, up by 6. And we focused so much about offense going into this game, talking about the fact that Japan had scored 78 goals in this tournament coming into the contest, that they were averaging 19.5 per game. But this game, to me, has been a lot about their defense. It has been quite a defensive performance. But look at a fast break by New Zealand with a little momentum and an answer by Nikki Fordyce. That is exactly how you do it. So we've had 2 fast breaks to open up this third quarter. It has been very exciting. And Nikki Fordyce has ripped some of that momentum back for New Zealand. Can New Zealand build upon that momentum? So in the draw control circle is going to be Fordyce, squaring off against Risa Suzuki. And another big draw control for New Zealand. Great battle here for the ball. We've got a whistle and it's gonna go to New Zealand. I really like the composure of this New Zealand team despite facing some adversity in the first half of the game. Second half is a whole new ball game. They've won some draw controls. They've had great defensive possession. And now Fordyce looking to get past her defender, which has been difficult to do today. Team Japan has such good defensive footwork. If you watch the feet of Japan's defenders, they're so active in their movement. But a free position opportunity coming up for Bertram. So Bertram had a lot of room to operate, but didn't get the shot that she wanted. The angle on that bounce shot was a little shallow. And I'm not sure if one of the Team Japan defenders hit her stick, and that's why the angle was shallow on that shot. But it made it an easier save for Runa Fujita. Tamura bringing the ball up the field for Japan. And of course, time on the side of Japan with no shot clock. They can take a long time on this clear. And that is exactly what Runa Fujita is doing. 8 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in our third quarter. And I think for New Zealand right now, the big thing to realize is they're down by 5, so they're not going to get all those goals back immediately. They're going to have to lock down defensively. They're going to have to win draw controls, and they cannot afford turnovers. That's really a big one for New Zealand. So it's all about the mental focus right now. Again, you can't really pay attention to the scoreboard. It comes down to fundamentals, doing all the little things well. But draw control wins and taking care of the ball can get you very far in this game where you can score goals so quickly. But again, Japan really engaging in some good clock management here. They're taking a while on this clear, and now in open space, in transition, and look at the rocket of a shot by Narumi Nakui, who becomes the 7th member of Team Japan to score in this contest. you see how quickly Japan got down the field. Very efficient, very few passes. And what was so interesting about that play was they were taking their time on the clear, perhaps drew New Zealand in to a little bit of a lull, caught them off guard, and New Zealand's going to call a timeout here. And I think this is a fantastic timeout call by Casey McLean, who's the head coach of New Zealand. Right now, just to settle this team down a bit. They had some momentum. They had the Nikki Fordyce goal. But Japan just continues to use their speed so well. And we saw them do that on that last goal-scoring opportunity. They get down the field so quickly. There was only one defender back, and that defender was really stuck in no man's land because she did not know if the ball was going to get passed or if Narumi Nakui was going to take the shot herself. And let me tell you, there was so much power behind that shot by Nakui. Very few goalkeepers could have stopped that from that point-blank range. So a very difficult spot for the defense for New Zealand to be in. So 7 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter of this one. And New Zealand trying to find an answer. And again, you have to realize you can't force things and you can't do everything all at once. So they're going to have to be patient with it and do all the little things really well. But they cannot afford costly mistakes. And Japan is already back out on the field preparing for this next draw control. And it looks like it's going to be Kobayashi back in the circle. We've seen both teams really alternate doing the draws by committee. But it's going to be Chisa Kobayashi in the circle with Nikki Fordyce. And Ollie Archer is on the circle. You see she's all by herself on one end of the circle. And now Fuji coming over. And a penalty there on Japan. So Nikki Fordyce will be awarded possession, and a big win here for New Zealand. An important possession. They're going to have crisp passing, being very intentional with their decision making. And like we said, you're not going to be able to get everything back immediately. You don't want to force anything. You don't have to rush things too much. You want to get a good high percentage shot. And now New Zealand changing personnel a little bit with their 6 on the offensive end. They did not have Nikki Fordyce in the offensive zone. They just rotated her forward. She scored the last New Zealand goal. Five minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the third. The winner of this one plays the winner of USA versus Hong Kong, China. Nice idea, well defended by Japan. Ball is loose back behind the restraining line. New Zealand lucky to hang on to it. That's Harriet Overend with another big play. She's really had some good moments in this game, has been a bright spot for New Zealand. And now New Zealand will reset their offense, and really a credit to New Zealand there to hang on to possession. Freeman will hand off to Fordyce. Fordyce. And New Zealand, again, not getting a lot of movement through that middle as they will reset. And now having more players work their way through. Difficult pass, difficult catch, and quickly up the field. You see what Japan does so well on these clears is the second one of their players could potentially get the ball, a player races forward, and that was just unlucky. I'm not even sure what the ball hit, that it bounced out of the net so quickly. So potentially one of the posts. There was so much power behind it, but you see how quickly Japan moves down the field, and their clearing game is something to witness. They recognize that their speed is such a strength for Team Japan. And like I said, the second there's the potential that they could have possession, one or two players races forward to create that fast breaking option. Their awareness and their focus has been tremendous in this contest, because you have to have that awareness and that focus to play good team defense, which we've seen Japan do today. And you have to do that in your clearing game, where Japan has been very successful, particularly creating fast break opportunities. And a goal there by Hikari Tagano, and that is her second of the game. The floodgates are just opening for this high-octane Japan offense. And again, that's the second today for Tagano. This is her third World Championship event, and you see the experience paying off. Tagano was second on the team with 5 calls turnovers in 2017, playing with the World Championship squad. And Japan is just not taking their feet off the gas pedal. They are playing all out, 110% every single second of this game. And if you want to go far in this championship bracket, that is exactly the way you have to play. You cannot take a second off. Your focus has to be so intense, and that has been a huge key today for Japan. So procedure violation there against New Zealand, which is exactly what they did not want to do. And now Japan, another opportunity, just under 2 minutes remaining in our third quarter. And a rare miscue there for Japan. We've seen them maybe 1 or 2 times have some miscommunication on their passing. Clock is still running, and we are going to reset with Maya Taga. And now Monica Jones back behind the goal for Japan. It's really hard when you think about Japan to pick out a player who's been the most outstanding player of the game, because it has been such a team style that they play. And of course, there's a lot of lacrosse left to be played, but if I had to pick right now, I would pick Runa Fujita, the goalkeeper. As we get a yellow card on Bria Bertram, and this is a tough moment for New Zealand, because they're going to play a woman down, so they'll only have 5 players defensively out on the field because of the yellow card. So 6v5. And Japan getting a lot of movement in this offensive set. Jones did such a good job cutting into that space, and what a great find by her team. Monica Jones now has 2 goals and a monster assist in this game. And now Japan up by 8, 34 seconds remaining in our third quarter. And probably worth mentioning right now, Japan's missing 2 of their players today that they expected to have, who are out due to COVID protocols. They're missing Mio Takahashi, and they're missing Shihomi Hosime. Japan. So do not know if they will be back. My suspicion is perhaps not with the COVID protocols. We will have to wait and see, but Japan has really rallied despite missing 2 of the players unexpectedly from their roster. But of course, I think all teams came into this tournament recognizing that that was certainly a possibility. So I think teams mentally prepared that that might happen, that they might have players on their roster who would be unavailable because, of course, the tournament doing everything they can to keep players safe. And a turnover, it looks like, as the ball stops right over the line. I didn't know if it had enough on it to actually roll out of bounds. And we're gonna reset with 1.1 seconds remaining in our third quarter. It's another big quarter for Japan, who has been tremendous in this event. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back with fourth quarter action. Japan leading New Zealand 10-2 in the championship bracket.
Gatorade has launched Fuel Tomorrow, a new multi-year initiative to help everyone have equal opportunity to play sports and realize their potential. Learn more at Gatorade.com/community. Maverick Lacrosse is proud to sponsor teams competing at the highest level. Compete above with the Ascent Plus complete stick. World Lacrosse Sixes is a new format of our sport that features short, action-packed games played on a smaller field with fewer players. With 6 players taking on the challenge of offense and defense, a shot clock, and running quarters, the excitement and speed of lacrosse are on full display. Fans can see the game that players and coaches are raving about by watching Sixes at the World Games from July 7th to 17th.
I'm just curious what their shots look like over there.
What's that?
I'm still kind of curious what some of the guys' shots look like.
I know, so am I.
I'm curious about their tight, their end zone and their slash.
I mean, I figure they must know what to do.
Some of them might find it. I don't know. I'm just
Not if
curious.
you
I just
and I
want
would
to
be
see
pulled
it.
over there. But
I just want to see it, and
I know. Well, he loves us. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Tiger Field for the start of our fourth quarter of this one, and we'll revisit the bracket. And you see the United States in the third quarter of their game against Hong Kong, China has extended their lead 18-0. And the most impressive thing there is the defensive dominance of Team USA, not allowing any goals so far in that contest. Now, we've also seen a great defensive game here from Team Japan, and it's looking very much like that's going to be the matchup tomorrow night, Team USA versus Team Japan, if this result holds. And that is going to be a tough test for Team Japan, because Team USA, and everyone knew they were the favorites coming into this tournament, and they have certainly looked like it from that opening round game against Team Canada, which was such a treat to watch on our opening day. But for Team Japan, I think if they can get off to a good start, can put forth an impressive showing in that one. Call there, I believe that's a shooting space call against New Zealand. Free position opportunity coming up for Chisa Kobayashi. From the far hash, Kobayashi decides not to take the shot, and not surprising from her vantage point on the field, particularly. No need to force anything, wait for a better shot opportunity, which Japan finds with Kanako Mizuno. So remember, Kanako Mizuno scored the first goal of this game, which seems like a long time ago, but she scores the 11th goal for Team Japan, giving Japan a 9-goal lead. The assist was Mayu Fuji. And that's the second assist today for number 10, Mayu Fuji. And I do think that that's one of the things today that has stood out the most about Team Japan. I've talked about their balance, but you just see every different play, it's different players, different groups of players working so well together, having such great chemistry with each other. And this is a very unselfish Team Japan. They're looking for the extra pass, they're looking for the better shot. This is really a team before self type mentality where they're not as worried about their own individual stats. They're much more worried about getting the win, and that's certainly been on display in this game. It is a very unselfish style that they play. We've seen a lot of assisted goals. And I think, and I'll just look back through my stats to confirm this, I think perhaps the most amazing and impressive thing to me about Team Japan's performance so far is we highlighted before the game our player to watch, Kokoro Nakazawa, and she's been great in this game in terms of drawing the defense. She's not yet scored a goal. She hasn't had to. She's done exactly what Team Japan has needed her to do in the contest. And that says so much about her. That says so much about this team. She draws so much defensive attention, and she should, coming into this game with 14 goals and 5 assists. But she does not have to be the goal scorer for Team Japan to be successful, and I think that's a tremendous thing about this squad. New Zealand continuing to battle, looking for a good opportunity. 11 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Good look inside. I love the shot selection by Harriet Overend, who's had some good looks today, just has not been able to convert each time. Has 1 goal, had the first for New Zealand. Great defensive play, but New Zealand will hang on to the ball. That was Risa Suzuki trying to create the turnover. You see Japan just swarming right now. Kanakame with a nice defensive play. And now once again, Japan feeling very comfortable, taking their time on the clear. And no one picks up the player sprinting with the ball. Risa Suzuki, nice change of direction. And again, Japan looking so strong in their clearing game. Hirose with the ball. We're gonna back up. Well beyond midfield. But again, no urgency here out of Japan. Japan just so confident with the ball. The players come to pressure and they just change direction with such fluidity. It's very impressive. Once again, we've talked about how they use their speed. And New Zealand doing everything they can to try to get possession back, realizing time is of the essence. You really have to go out and pressure and chase. This is Nakazawa working around her defender, and again, just working some clock, good time management, good clock management. Nakazawa will send the ball back outside. And finally, we'll get a foul called. Nakazawa was asking for the call. This is such an important part of the game, particularly if you don't have a shot clock. Just being able to let time expire, lulling your defender in, and taking advantage. Hikari Takano has a hat trick today for Team Japan.
Japan goal, line number 12, Hikari Takano.
Only player in the game that has 3 goals. And an impressive day for Hikari Takano. So we talked about really stood out in 2017 for her defensive efforts, has stood out today for her offensive efforts on the field.
Starting again. We're going misty out.
So about halfway through our 4th quarter, looking very much like we are going to have a meeting between the United States and Japan tomorrow night. And again, that one has all the makings of a game that you do not want to miss. So back in the draw control circle. And a penalty there on Japan will award the ball to Ollie Archer. The time starting to run out on New Zealand. Good effort by Sayaka Higa. Overend with possession has been one of the best options today for New Zealand. Overend and Fordyce, the 2 goal scorers, and they're both out on offense right now. And we'll get a whistle. Send Megan Archer back a couple of steps. And now we'll reset. Great double team in the low crease area. And you see the double teams come so quickly. We're gonna get the foul called against Japan. This is just the style of defense that they play. Those double teams come so quickly, and now free position opportunity coming up for Kiki Shum. Shum, the shot and the goal. That is number 6 for New Zealand, and that's a big momentum play.
Number 6, Kiki Shum. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. The score.
So 5 minutes remaining in our 4th quarter of play, and New Zealand still battling hard. Kiki Shum, who played in the 2013 World Championship, getting a big goal. New Zealand doing everything they can to win this draw control. So we saw at the half, New Zealand was actually leading that category 5-4. Now the officials taking some time to set up this draw. And Overend again will win possession for New Zealand. That was a nice job by Ollie Archer as well, directing the ball over to her teammate. And now New Zealand will set up their offense. This is Butler, who's been a little quiet today. The defense has done a great job preventing her from being too effective out on the field. And now Overend trying to work her way inside. Ball knocked loose. What a check by Mika Sugaya. And you see the speed of Japan on full display. They've got the trailer. Nice look inside, but a big save by the goalkeeper. That's Erin Jagger for New Zealand. That's a big momentum play. That was a tough stop to make for Erin Jagger. And now New Zealand, an opportunity once again to set up their offense. Perry trying to work her way inside. Will draw the foul. Narumi Nakui has played some very tough defense today. She's really been dynamic for Japan. She's going to get whistled for the foul. Just over 2 minutes remaining.
Yellow flag.
Overend looking inside to Fordyce. Fordyce pushed outside, great defense. And again, just watch the players for Team Japan just shadowing the sticks of their opponents. And again, beautiful catch on the clear and then turning on the speed. This has just been a clinic today by Japan of how you operate in transition. It hasn't worked out every single time, but it has been very impressive to watch. And this is Riza Suzuki. Center hash, free position chance, and we'll get a shooting space call. Japan continuing to shuttle players in and out of the game. And we're back underway. Again, Japan stretching things out, but getting some movement in the middle. Errant pass there, but they will hang on to possession. Under a minute remaining. Once again, another nice change of direction. The pass hits the post. The goalkeeper's best friend. And now New Zealand. Not a lot of time. Pushing up the field, good speed. Ball knocked loose. Under 30 seconds remaining, so the clock will keep stopping. And a free position opportunity this time for Ollie Archer. Archer works her way inside over top of the net, and it's backed up by Japan. So patient, waits for the right player to pass to Jones with a nice catch, the extra pass. So unselfish by Monica Jones. And that will end this one. Japan, your winners over New Zealand, 12-3, looking very much like they will have a date with the United States tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. The United States up 19-0, still trying to keep the shutout against Hong Kong, China. The story of the day, I think the defense. Japan coming up huge, only allowing 3 goals. And again, if I had to pick, I would pick Runa Fujita for her defense early on. Those 3 big first half saves, helping to secure the win today for Team Japan. That will do it here from us from Tiger Field. Thanks so much for joining us, Japan. Your winners over New Zealand, 12-3.